So it seemed pretty straightforward, off-leash training,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Have you done any training yourself?
Mainly basic little things that I see on the internet.
Okay.
I think he has little basic, I got him at 6 months, he got shit from Florida.
Okay.
That's how he gets, he gets excited, I mean, he's always been, he was a pandemic dog, so he's always been raising excited.
Sure.
Dog.
How's it with people?
Huh?
How's it with
Oh,
people?
he's good.
He's fine? With the prong collar, do you ever correct them?
Yeah.
You do?
And he says.
So you can correct the crying, you can correct
Alright.
that.
Sit. Sit down. Give me sit.
Okay. So is that how you correct them?
No, I never correct.
Oh, because that's why he's like that.
Oh.
Okay, because nothing's saying, because he's getting anxious right now.
Right, he gets anxious.
Yeah, is for humans, we can talk to people, help relax them, but another dog would just come and bite him.
Oh.
They would say, just don't be anxious. You know, they don't talk to him and say, like, hey, it's okay, you know, that kind of stuff. So you can, have you ever done like a leash pop on the prong collar?
No.
No? Okay. So we'll see how he does, because if he starts to get too anxious, we're not going to be able to talk because he's going to just cry the whole time, right? So so we got off-leash training, right? Is he good with dogs as well, or any behavioral issues with it?
He's always want to play with them.
Okay.
That's one of the things I want to see what you guys have. I used to bring him 2 times a week where he could go ahead and mingle with them. And
Sure, play and stuff?
Right.
Sure.
Well, I'm not sick.
Does he have any dog friends, like friends, relatives, or anything like that? No?
Yeah, well, I do have a little chihuahua at the house, but little chihuahua don't get along with him.
Okay.
So he's always in his room. So yeah, he's always, he don't, I mean, they
Because he's old.
yeah, he's really old already.
Oh, yeah,
He's
that's
like,
fine.
don't bother me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but they don't, he don't try, he just smells them and he tries to, he tries to play with them, try to, curious. So that's what
Show him how to do it.
yeah, he's like,
Are you planning on neutering him?
no.
No? Okay. So I don't care what you do with your dog, but just to realize that dogs have to mate 2 times a year.
Oh.
Okay.
Really? Oh, I didn't know.
It's not like a human, like you gotta control yourself. Dogs, it's a necessity.
It's a necessity.
He's gonna feel that. So what can happen, I'm not saying that it will,
Right.
what can happen is they get frustrated.
Right.
Because they got that tension can't go anywhere, and it can lead to like machismo
No, machismo, yeah.
behaviors, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've had dogs that are not neutered, they're fine, and all that stuff, and they get other dogs that develop issues. It can go either way. But just so that you know, because people don't realize that part, that their dog has to do it 2 times a year, because as an animal, yeah.
Sit down. Sit.
As an animal, he doesn't think like we do, So, go ahead and just tell me like what you wanting to do or what are you trying to achieve here?
Really to be, calm and take him out, off leash, walk him around, take him to the park. He gets too excited, I took him into a dog store last week and he gets, he starts like curious.
Sure.
I don't blame him. Yeah, like this. Like this.
Anything else?
No, other than that, when he's in the car and I'm driving, he's calm, but then he also gets kind of, curious sometimes, and when I'm getting to the house, he starts getting like this in the car, like I don't want to go home. Huh? Oh, if I hug her, yeah, he gets like,
He starts barking?
Yeah, he starts barking.
Sure.
Sit. Sit. Down. Down, 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 down. 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 King, down.
Yeah. So if you hug her, he barks at you?
Yeah, he barks.
Okay.
And she hugs me, so I'll bark.
Okay. And then do you do anything to stop it or no?
Yeah, we tell him to stop.
Okay.
And he stops.
Okay. Anything else?
One more. you can see that he's excited. He wants to like play.
Sure, he just gets too stimulated.
Right.
Yeah.
O no puede estar solo en la casa.
Or he can be by himself at the house.
Oh, separation anxiety?
Yeah. Yeah, he gets that.
Sure. What's he do?
He just like that.
Okay. Does he ever settle down?
I haven't seen him like.
Si está solo se pone así, pero cuando tiene que haber alguien siempre pone.
Sí, pero sí, él se calma cuando está solo. No me gusta. I mean, se calma un ratito and then he'll get a camera. So watch him. And he'll start like that. He'll start like scratching the door, like, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that's about it.
How long has he been left alone for?
Probably about 2 hours the most. Not a lot. Because there's
Okay.
always somebody at the house.
Sure.
You know, the kids, they're
Okay.
homeschooling. So as long as there's somebody in the house, one person, he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah. But, so actually, you have, it looks like you have your leash clipped to the wrong,
The wrong way?
yeah, so clip it on the other ring.
Oh, the other one?
Yeah.
Sit up. Sit. This one?
The swivel one. Yeah, there you go. So what you're gonna do, and then slide the collar up a little bit.
This one?
Yeah, we're gonna go slide it up,
Yeah, right.
because it should be higher in the neck.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Good. And now here, just pull up, and then relax. Okay, so and then up.
Wait. Come on. Up.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Now every time he cries, what I'm gonna have you do is pull up,
Okay.
and then when he quiets down, you're gonna relax, okay? And then don't worry about saying sit or sit down, because it's gonna
Yeah.
make him more stimulated. So, anything else with this guy? No? So we got the off-leash obedience, we got separation anxiety, and just like too much excitement, right?
Yeah.
Just like with
Right.
people and things, yeah.
And he's always want to play.
Cuando,
I mean, they're playful dog. He's always bringing the toy, like, play.
y cuando tomamos un chihuahua, sabemos que
Oh, when we bring down the Chihuahua to use the washroom, well, he goes directly to his food. Always runs
Oh.
to his food bowl.
Sure.
Like, don't touch it.
Do you need the food out all day, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so that you want to put him on production food.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's resource guarding.
Right.
So you said, so if the Chihuahua comes down, he goes to the
To
food.
the food. He goes to
Okay.
the food. Right away. Like, if you see them coming down, he runs to the food. And starts eating.
Yeah. So, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just put the food up,
Okay.
and then only feed them. I feed my dogs once a day.
Oh,
You can
okay.
feed them twice a day, it's just personal preference.
Oh.
But you can feed them, like, so if he gets, so pull up,
Okay.
up,
Come on.
up, and then relax, right there. Up, and then relax, like that. Okay. And then up, and relax. Good. And relax your arm. Relax, like that. Okay. So every time you pull up, you're biting him.
Right.
Okay. So and this is just to help calm him down. But it's not the same as a correction. Okay, because a correction, you go like that to create this motion. Right now you're just doing this, up, and then relax. You're just doing this to settle him. And then when he relaxes, you relax. Okay, because if you keep it tight the whole time, he doesn't know what he's doing right or wrong.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, with the feeding stuff, that's resource guarding. Yep, and then relax. So I would just feed either once or twice a day. So if he eats, if he eats up, like that, and up, keep up, and then up and away, up and away. There you go. Keep up, and then now we're almost up and away. There you go, and now relax. So right there, he doesn't like that. So he tries to fight back. So when he takes the leash, he's trying to take the control back. Okay, because when you put the prong like this, you're taking control over him. But then if he doesn't settle and you put a lot, he doesn't like it, so then he's trying to fight back. Okay, so then you just move him off, and then you keep it up, and then relax until he relaxes. Okay, so it's like a kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Right.
So if he eats like 2 cups a day, it'd be a cup and a cup, or you can just do 2 cups all at once. Okay, so that's just personal preference. And I put it down for 5 minutes and I put it away.
So how about if you don't eat all of it?
Then just put it away.
Oh.
Okay, because eventually he's gonna learn it's gonna disappear. He's gonna eat all at once. Okay, so then it should fix
Yeah,
that
because you
problem.
don't eat it all at once. That's what I'm going to like a little bit here, and then after a couple of hours, then I'll go back a little bit here.
Yep, it's because it's out all day.
Because it's all
Yeah. So we like my dogs, man, as soon as I put the food down, they go, eat or go fast, and then it's done. But so like they don't, that's how the dogs become picky eaters, it's because they eat
Right.
all day. So people are changing foods and putting stuff in there and all that, you know, chicken, and then the dog will stop eating and yeah, because you leave it out all day. So, okay, that should help with that problem. So yeah, separation anxiety, off-leash training, and then just like some minor behavior stuff, up and then relax. Did you do any research on how I train?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know I use the e-collar?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with what the e-collar is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have one for him. I forgot to bring it, but we use the vibration one. Like, so when he's outside, you know, instead of the little prong, we just I don't know what we use that when he's outside. He don't wanna like come inside. You know, when he's in the backyard, he's a wild train. He don't wanna come inside. And I call him. He don't wanna come, so I do the vibration. Then he comes. He like it bothers him, then comes. So that's the way why.
How long you had the collar for?
For about 3 months.
Okay. Do you remember how much you paid for it? Like $30, $80?
Yeah, something like that. It was on Amazon.
Okay, yeah. It's not a good collar.
Yeah, it's not the real collars. No, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I told her. I was like, they're way different. The ones, you know, the real ones.
Yeah. They look different. They feel different. They're more expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then up. There you go. And then, yeah. So with the e-collar, that's in my opinion what allows us to get off-leash control because you can press the button, right? With a guy like this, because he's so anxious, it can help calm him down. In the beginning, you might see him become more anxious because e-collar is a stressor, and when he goes under stress, he's anxious. Okay, so then we might see his anxiety go up, and then once he kind of gets over it, it can come down. Okay, so in the beginning, people will think like, oh, is it making the dog worse? And well, no, it's because the dog's stressed out, and they're naturally anxious. So then you see a lot of anxiety, but eventually, as you practice, it starts to become less. Up, up, up. Now relax. Good. So the way we use it is kind of like this, but instead of pulling on the leash, go ahead and relax here. See what he does. Now. Yep.
So when it goes down like this, do I gotta correct it or bring it
Yeah,
up?
you just slide it up.
Oh,
You have it fitted correctly. It just takes skill to learn how to keep it up there. So like what you're doing here is what we call pressure. Okay. So right now you're putting pressure, and then when he relaxes, you take away pressure. Okay. And then he relaxes. You can relax a little bit, like that. And then he wants to move again. Yeah. So then pull, dip, and then relax. And up again. Good, and then relax. Good. So you see how like before he would sit, right? And then now he's starting to lay down. It's because here he wants to do something, and you're telling him not to, so he's conflicted. So he chills for a little bit. Okay, it'll work, and then he moves again. And then you tell him you can't do that, and he moves for a little bit, but now he'll do something. Right? It's like a kid.
Right.
You know, you tell them to calm down, they'll calm down, and then 5 minutes later, they're like, want to do something, right? So here, the more you do that, eventually you can just see them like later for like 15 minutes and just be chill, okay? So
it's funny because I was gonna bring them when they first shipped it to me because they came from a good family, and something the lady that had it, she had like 5 kids, something like that. They were athletes, as a matter of fact. So my son, he's over there for college, and he got them, and he's like, he noticed a week after he couldn't take care of you going to college. So he's like, man, I didn't know. I said, I told you not to. So then I got him to ship it to me. I said, well, I'll get him. So they shipped it to me, and I kept looking at you guys for a while. And I was like, man, I want to get him to train there. And then I told her, like last night, I was like, man, let's go to that place to check it out. I didn't know I live across the street. I didn't know this. I was so mad, bro, because I never looked at the address, bro.
Yeah.
I live right across the street, and I didn't know you guys were here. And I was like, what the? When I
Were you in the truck?
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah. Now that you're saying.
Yeah, it was so funny because I put the GPS, you know, just to put it.
Yeah.
And it, a ver, tú me estás llevando para casa. I was like, they're on the street, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I may have even seen maybe you guys walking around.
Oh yeah, I walked them, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, and I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a pit.
Oh, okay.
She's like 9 years old now. She's a blue nose. She's got a white blaze with the white toes,
Okay.
you know. So she's old now, but I remember when she was,
Right.
because I got her at 3 months. You know, so I got her since she was 3 months. And I think because I had her, like everybody with pit bulls like always comes to me for like training, you know.
Right.
So I was like, all right.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, and even this you can pull up.
So when you say up, pull it up where he sits? Or
So
just...
yeah, what you're doing is, so go ahead and pull up, and then relax, right? So, because he was laying down, right? Up again, right? Up. Even though he was laying down, he was starting to cry. So when you pull up, you're just...
Are you letting him know, like...
Exactly, but it's gonna make him do this, right? But eventually he's gonna do this again.
Okay.
But then maybe he'll be there quiet for longer,
Right.
you know? So you're kind of resetting him, because technically he's more relaxed like this, but he's crying and crying and crying, right? So you still gotta correct it. And that's with this kind of approach, because with the e-collar, you could just press the button,
Right,
and
yeah.
then that's it, okay? So, in terms of like, the separation anxiety, that's the hardest thing,
Okay.
okay? Because it happens when you're gone,
Okay.
okay? And especially if he's used to someone always being there,
Right.
and is it like because of COVID or whatever, so like the kids aren't going to school or
Right.
something, right?
Right.
This is a big problem now,
Yeah.
in separation anxiety,
Yeah.
okay? Is he kennel trained at all or not?
Is he what?
Kennel trained?
No.
No? Have you never been in a crate?
Oh, no.
No?
I think he I don't know if the previous owner had him. I know that the previous owner, the dad he's a trainer.
Okay.
So that's where she got him from, her dad. So he trains pit bull, that's what he has.
Mhm.
So I guess they trained the basic thing. He was supposed to be what do you call the dog that you take him everywhere?
Oh, service dog?
Yeah, he was supposed to be that. He was being trained for that. But I have no.
Yeah. Up. 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 A little bit more. Yeah, wait a moment. Right there. Then relax. Yeah, he wouldn't be a good service dog
Right.
because of all the anxiety stuff.
anxiety.
Because service dogs are with the person like all the time,
Yeah.
you know, but at some point they have to leave them,
Yeah.
you know. So, but like a service dog is out with them a lot, but is able to also be away from them,
Right.
you know. So, when it comes to the separation anxiety,
You know, we haven't even tried it, pero nosotros no hemos tratado ahora abajo, porque era que bueno estaba en ese cuarto. But we haven't tried on like loose in the house with a camera and none of us being there, like my kids or anything, you know.
So you
My
said-
kids are always in a room with the
Sure.
game, so when I leave or she's not there, we leave them, yo lo dejo and he don't. But, pero él sube al cuarto donde sí.
it might be worth trying to
Right.
see, because that's where you're gonna see the biggest problem,
The biggest problem, yeah.
right? And then like make sure you have the camera and stuff, because
Yeah.
people will come home and the dog destroy your.
Oh, yeah, that's why we be spooked. That's why we meet somebody.
Yeah. So, when it comes to separation anxiety, like at some point, is he gonna be left completely alone? Do you think?
I mean,
Is that like-
maybe one day we want to go out or something.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I would like for him to be calm in the house. You know, like.
Yeah, because that's where the crate comes into play.
Right.
Because like what I told everybody now with COVID is, even if you're working from home 9 to 5,
Uh-huh.
I like put your dog in a crate in a different room
To
to get used to
get
being
used
away
to
from
it,
you,
yes.
and then get used to the schedule. So that this way, 'cause some of the people are now leaving us. Some of the people are now going back to work and stuff. And now the dog can't, you know, be alone. Yeah. So by keeping them separate, it just gets them used to not always being around the owner, and it gets them used to the work schedule. So when the owner goes back to work, 9 to 5 or whatever, the only thing that's changing is now they're leaving, but the dog is used to it, you know what I'm saying? But if it goes from he's free all the time, and then one day it's like, hey, go here.
He's gonna feel like.
Yeah, he's gonna freak out. Okay? So, that's the hardest thing to fix.
Okay.
What I would probably do is one, crate training, right? Start implementing it.
Right.
If he barks in the kennel, we can correct it, it's not a problem. Up, up, and then relax. Like that, again. And then relax, here. Is worst case scenario, and this is only if he's like super vocal or like destructive, like you might need like a bark collar. The bark collar is like an e-collar, but it goes off when he barks.
Oh.
Okay? So it can, it'll keep him calm even when you're gone, so he shouldn't have any issues, okay? But that's the most, like, I get like really aggressive dogs and stuff here, but separation anxiety is the hardest, because it's when you're gone, okay? But the off-leash training, it's easy, okay? It's pretty straightforward. So, because we have 6, 9, and 12-week programs.
Yeah.
If you want off-leash, that's a 12-class program. Right? We teach everything. And then relax. Here. Try doing, so what you're gonna do is this, and like this, firm and quick. Faster. Better, but more intense. Relax. So you want to be like, yeah, real firm, okay? Because you can calm him down, but you can see just like how amped up he is. So if he tries right here, and then relax. Yeah. And does he like this at home too, or only like when you take him places?
No, when I take him places, I like to go.
Yeah. Okay. Is with e-collar, we cover sit, stay, down, come, place, heel.
Right.
With these commands, they're meant for you to do stuff with him.
Okay.
Like so you can take him places.
Right.
You can take him to a restaurant and you know, deal with the crying. And if you tell him to lay down, he won't move for 2 hours.
Right.
Okay? Or you can tell him to go to his dog bed and he won't move for 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, so like if you're gonna have friends come over or something and you don't want him messing with everybody, then send him somewhere. The heel is for you know, walking, no pulling, no tension, and then we cover the recall stuff. So it's essentially like just the family pet stuff. The stuff that's gonna let you do things with him. And like, what does your life with King look like in the future? Like, would you go hiking with him? You know?
Yeah, I see him being with us all the time.
Okay, like going to friends' houses and stuff like that?
I see him being with us all the time.
Gotcha. So, if you're wanting full off-leash, that's 12, 1 day a week for an hour. The first thing we always teach, like how does he walk on the leash? Does he pull a lot or?
He don't pull a lot with the prong.
Okay.
Without the prong, he does pull.
He does pull.
Yeah.
Okay. When do you walk without the prong, for potty break or?
Yeah, for potty break.
Just potty real quick? Yeah. So the first thing that we teach is, with the heel, you can get it to where you don't need a leash, and he walks right here. Okay, it just takes practice and time.
Right.
And it's easy to do, it just takes practice and time.
Right.
Is, with these tools, always expect King to not be as good.
Right.
Okay, so like when you say right now, like when I take the prong collar off, like he pulls with the prong collar, he's okay. Is because think of the collar like a cop. You know, when the cops are around, we obey the speed limit, right? We stop, we put our blinker on, right? Because you don't want to get a ticket or whatever.
Right.
So same thing with the collar. Okay, it's like a cop, so when it's present, he's like, oh, okay, I have to listen, I have to behave myself, okay? So even with the e-collar, you can train him for 2 years, you know, practice and stuff, and then you take it off and he's gonna be a burnout, right? It's kind of like kids. if you tell the kids, hey, you can't watch TV or grounded,
No, right.
and you leave the room,
Right, they're gonna, yeah.
yeah, they're gonna, exactly, right, you know,
Yeah.
they're gonna try to watch TV. So that's the same thing with dogs, okay? Because people always ask like, people always ask like, how come the dogs don't behave as well without the collar? And it's not because of the training, it's because without the pack there, they're going to do what they want to do, okay? It's much easier to correct them, because like right now, when you did your correction, it's a lot firmer.
Right.
Like it's, I don't know how to describe it.
No, I know
to
what
you.
you're saying, he's like, oh, this ain't, you know?
It's not much, right?
Yeah, it's not much.
Because dogs bite each other, so he's naturally got a higher tolerance for
Yeah.
pain and discomfort
Yeah.
than we do.
Oh.
Plus pits are really tough. You know, these are, pits are very tough, powerful dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't think people kind of realize just how
Yeah,
tough they can be.
yeah.
I got one back there earlier that's really aggressive,
Oh.
and we were maxed out on the collar, and he just kept it.
Oh,
So,
shit.
yeah. I mean, we got him to stop, but it took
Right,
him
but
a
it's
bit. Right, and it's because he's so tough.
Right.
So here, with the collar that you'll, yep, and then relax. Good. With the collar, I would suggest you get the high power one, because he's what, like 70, 80 pounds? Or 60?
Yeah, like 60.
He's like 60
Yeah.
pounds? Yeah.
I gotta check.
So the collar that I recommend is meant for like dogs his size. Because
Okay.
if you get the smaller one, it's meant for smaller dogs, like a 35-pound dog.
Right.
You know, or like the one below that is for Chihuahuas.
Right.
So it's not going to be anything to get like him, right? The first thing we always teach is how to walk on the leash correctly.
Okay.
He might walk good, but my definition of a dog that walks well versus the average dog one is very different,
Yeah.
right? So it's usually 2 classes on the heel, and then we jump into come when called. Do you ever let him off leash anywhere?
Out in the backyard.
Okay, but not outside of the backyard?
Not outside the backyard, we never.
Okay. So,
Like heel and stuff like that, like he'll do it with me at the house, inside the house.
Uh-huh.
Like he'll walk right by me,
mhm.
you know, like a Fortnite, you know, give him a treat whenever he does good. But yeah, I've never tried it like outside or like that.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah, so heel is meant for you to, like, all heel commands are meant to be functional,
Right.
right? So if you go to Home Depot and you
Yeah.
tell him to heel, boom, he's right there, right there. PetSmart, he's
Yeah,
right
I don't
there.
think that's.
Yeah. So that's what we train for.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's 2 classes on that. The third class we jump into recall, which is come when called.
Okay.
So
yeah.
once you learn come when called, it allows you to take King more places. 'Cause now you're not worried like, is he gonna run away? Okay, so if you're doing 12 classes, we cover the first, or the first 6 commands: sit, stay, down, come, place, heel. In those classes,
Okay.
the second 6, we start training to make them off leash reliable.
Oh.
Okay, so that means you have to go to the park, or you
Right.
have to go outside, you can go to the boulevard, whatever. You just need space
Okay.
to practice to let King be loose, so that you can practice your obedience. Okay.
Okay.
So it's easy to teach.
Uh-huh.
It just takes time and practice to get it to that level.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I usually do towards the end of the program, like once you hit like 9 classes,
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you, go and practice for a month,
Right.
and then come back for class 10. Then we
okay.
do some stuff so that you're gonna have some problems. And then I
Right.
go and practice again for a month.
Right.
Come back for class 11.
Okay.
So we start to space them out because you need time
Yes.
to make mistakes, to practice. Life's gonna happen.
Right.
You know, things gonna happen to kids or with work or whatever, so you're not always able to practice.
Right.
Because the first stuff is easy, because it's all on the short leash. Okay, it's easy. Every time you walk in, you practice your heel. You can practice all the sit, stay down stuff inside the home. But come when called, or practicing the commands to be off leash reliable requires you to go out. Okay, so it takes longer.
Right.
So, the first 6 to 9 classes are pretty straightforward. They're like week to week to week. One day a week for an hour. And then once we get towards the end, or once I think you're doing, like, you know enough,
Right.
I'll tell you, like, go practice now. And then we'll schedule for a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, and then come back. And then so, I've been training here because of the weather, but we've been actually training like at Oz Park.
Oh.
Have you guys been to Oz Park?
Where's?
On Webster and Lincoln,
Oh, okay.
in
Yeah.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
It's like, it's right down Elston, you go down.
Yeah, I'll park, yeah.
So, because there's dogs, there's people, there's skateboarders, there's rollerbladers, there's everything is there. So because of COVID,
Right.
I used to go to people's homes,
Oh, okay.
and then people were like, oh, we don't want you to come on our home no more
Right.
because of COVID.
Right.
So then I started training outside, and it worked really well because we're outside, there's people,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
distractions, there's all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So people really liked it. So at some point we're gonna go back to Oz, but I mean, if you live right here, I mean, you could also get trained
Right.
here.
Right.
But if you want the distractions of like life
Yeah.
and things and stuff like that, then you can always just meet over there too.
Okay.
Do you have any questions or?
No.
And then, what were you planning on like trying to do training and then daycare, or were you trying to do daycare and train?
Training, well, we could do training and daycare.
Because you have a couple options.
Oh, okay.
Because I always recommend that people train themselves, because you learn more.
Right.
Because you're doing it yourself. So I teach you to train him.
Right.
Okay? And it's all instruction, it's all verbal instruction.
Right.
With daycare and training, you bring them here like daycare.
Right.
We train them during the day, you
Right.
pick them up at the end, and after you've had so many days,
Yeah.
you schedule a lesson.
Right.
Okay? So we train them and then we give them back to you, and then expect him not to do anything until you work with me.
Right.
Okay, so I can teach you like what he knows, so that he starts listening to you. Okay?
Okay.
The problem is you don't see or you don't know how
How
he
he
was trained.
Yeah.
So what we do is we make a video.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. Six commands to stay down from place. We make a video. We
Okay.
record all the stuff that he learns the first time,
Okay.
and then we make a video and we send it to you.
Okay.
It's about an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
So once you get that video, you can watch it, you can start doing your training, okay? So we send the video, you watch it, you start doing your training, and then you schedule your visit with me when you're ready, okay? So it's like, it usually takes like 2 to 3 times visits before we put the video together and we send it to you. Once you get that, you practice.
Okay.
Maybe a month later, they're like, hey Jesse, we want to do the first lesson now,
Okay.
and we're having problems with this.
Oh, okay.
Then I help you with the stuff that you're having
Right.
issues with, you know what I'm saying? So, I do my best to try to educate you on how your dog learns, so you understand the job, so you understand how King learns, everything. But it's not the same as like doing the training yourself, you know?
Right.
So the pro is, if you do the training yourself, you learn a lot more,
Okay.
okay? The con is it takes longer.
Yeah.
If you do the daycare and train, the pro is he learns faster,
Right.
but the con is you don't learn as much.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's really just personal preference.
Right.
If you did a daycare and train, like he'd come here like a regular daycare day, we would do the training with him. Everybody works with him
Okay.
with training. You might even see him walking down the Home Depot and stuff, and they do training walks and stuff. And then he gets, we'll start to socialize him, see if he plays well, see who he plays well with. We do treadmill time, so he'll walk on the treadmill for like 45 minutes to an hour to get his exercise as well. So it's a pretty busy day, okay? So you drop him off, 7 to 10, and then you pick him up between 3 and 7. I always just recommend that people drop him off as early as possible and pick him up as late as possible so that they have plenty of time to like, have training all day. Otherwise, you can pick them up anytime between that.
Oh,
And then as soon as you get your video, the video is meant to teach you.
Right.
So then you watch the video and you just start practicing. Don't worry about screwing up.
Right.
And then if you struggle with anything, then you schedule your follow-up. And then I work with you. We can meet here, we can meet at Paul's Park, whatever, and try to help you or fix whatever it is you're struggling with.
Okay.
Okay? Other questions?
No. I think I feel, ¿verdad? ¿Cuál es mejor primero? Él dice el entrenamiento, primero el entrenamiento de daycare con entrenamiento, que entonces nos manda un video a nosotros y nosotros seguimos el entrenamiento y cuando vemos en qué está fallando, entonces le decimos que empieza la primera clase.
Porque tú quieres pagar.
I mean, I think.
And you don't have to decide now.
Okay.
You think about it. The equivalent is, so if you do it in person, it's 12 classes, right? 1 a week for an hour until the end. If you do, if you do the daycare and train, it's like a 4-week program,
Okay.
or 20 days, 1 day a week, or you can bring them up to 5 times a week or whatever, you know? And then what we do is we gradually progress them, okay? So once the dog has come, it's depending on which bundle you do. I usually tell people to do, like, let's say you do like 10 days. I'll say bring them in for the 5, and then the last 5, you stretch them out, like 2 here, and then 1 the next week. Okay, because once you start practicing, it takes time. It's easy and fast to teach, but you need time to make it reliable. You need time to make mistakes and like learn like what's going on and all that stuff. And they, like the owners will say like, hey, like, you know, the dog's not doing good with this, can you work on this? So then we make sure we work on that during the daycare train. But the equivalent would be a 20-day daycare train is the same as a 12-week program. Okay, that's the how they line up with each other if you're wanting off-leash. Okay, so like if anybody, like we have 2 dogs, they're leaving tomorrow actually. They're doing a 4-week boarding train, and then pull, and up, and relax. They're both doing 4-week boarding trains because they wanted complete off-leash. So 4-week boarding train is the same as a 12-week program. You know what I'm saying? So in this case with the daycare train, it's a 20-day program, which is kind of like 4 weeks. And you bring them in for daycare and then we train them as he's here. But then after so many days, we always say start to stretch them out because he's not like a human. Where he just learns something, he can do it. It's gonna take time, you know, because there's gonna be like people, dogs, squirrels, rabbits outside, right? So you have to like practice that stuff to make it as realistic as possible, okay? But you have those options. If you do the in-person, there might be a bit of a wait because my schedule's getting pretty full. But that all depends on your availability. You know, so like let's say this time is open and you know you want this time, like Maria would say, like, yeah, you know, you can, it's free. And the way it works is if you do 12 weeks, for 12 weeks plus 1, that's your time. Okay, no one can take it from you. But like let's say you cancel or you go out of town, right, for a few weeks, whatever, is by the time you hit the 13th week, you have classes left, but you used up what we call your priority. Okay, so if somebody else needs that time or needs this time, Maria would say like, hey, you know, you used up your time, your priority. We have a new client that needs it. So we would just move you to finish your last classes. Okay, so if you have like 3 classes left over and you've had to reschedule because of travel or something, we just work on a different time. And then Maria would send all that stuff up. So otherwise, like especially if you're doing 12, like once you hit 9, you're gonna be spacing them out anyways. But that's how we typically go about it. And some people like to just finish the program. But I'll usually tell people space it out, but it just depends on what the client wants to do. Okay?
I mean, which one would you recommend?
For what? The training?
Yeah.
I mean, I always recommend that people do it themselves. You know, because you learn more. It takes longer.
But when you say you talk about the one with the 12-week one or the one?
Oh, the daycare train? Yeah, so the daycare train, we do the training, you get videos, you watch them, and then when you're ready, you schedule lessons. It's faster, but you learn less. Okay, so I always suggest people train themselves. It's slower, but you learn a lot more. Okay, and I think it's cheaper too. Like cost-wise, I don't know off the top of my head.
So okay, cool. Even if I get that with like the train, you know, just the training. And I also want him, because I want him to socialize with.
Oh, daycare. That would be separate.
That will separate.
Yeah. So daycare train is its own program. Okay, where you bring them here and you pay us to train them.
And
at a daycare, right? And then you can do train them yourself. And then pay for daycare separate. Okay, and then we reinforce training. So like let's say you start training, whatever, you bring the training collar, you bring all this stuff. We reinforce it all here. Okay, so all the stuff he learns, we use it here. So it's not like a free-for-all. Like there's right now, today's a slow day, but there's like 20 dogs back there, but it's quiet. Right? Because we don't let it go crazy. Yeah, we don't let dogs go crazy here. And then they bark from time to time. You know, but there could be 30, 40 dogs back there. just quiet.
Wow.
Yeah, because we discipline, like this, we would correct. We wouldn't let them sit there and cry, we would correct them. But plus they do like different, you know, they do the treadmill, they do.
Right, exercise.
Correct. And then we do like the duration work of like, go here, don't move. So he's there, he's like, and there's dogs walking by, there's dogs playing, right, dogs training, there's dogs in the treadmill, and he's just there. So it's mixed up, so it's not just like crazy play all day, you know? So yeah, so you can do either or. So there's daycare training where we train them, and he does daycare. There's where you can do the training yourself, and then you bring them on daycare separate, or you can just bring them to daycare.
When you say you do the training yourself, is that you guys do the training, but with us, or how that work?
So it's, if you're doing
It's
one-on-one, yeah, so it's a private class, it's just us.
Right.
And I coach you through it.
Right.
Okay, so I don't touch King. You have to, like right now, like I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you what to do, and you're just doing it. And then I go, do your homework.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
¿Te gustaría eso? ¿Te gustaría que ellos lo entrenen y también el daycare juntos?
Me gusta lo del daycare también, porque
¿O separado? O sea, hay uno con daycare y entrenamiento juntos. Hay uno con entrenamiento nada más que nosotros enseñándole. Él nos dice qué hacer y nosotros le enseñamos. Y está nosotros solo, entonces daycare separado, que puede, hacen ejercicio y juega con los perros y cosas así. Pero separado.
Dime tú porque yo quiero, eso también quiero saber.
No, I guess.
El daycare también.
Yeah, I guess the training is a separate daycare.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. And I think cost-wise, they end up, you know,
Right.
kind of being the same.
Right.
To be honest, like all the prices are on the website.
Okay.
But because we have bundles here, we have 5, 10, and 20-day bundles, so you don't have to pay every single time.
Okay.
You know, you can buy like a 10-day, and if you bring them 2 times a week, that'll last you 5 weeks. You know, and then you buy a new bundle if you're doing the daycare stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I could buy. Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah. Or you can just bring them, you know, whenever you want and just pay by day.
So I could get the daycare and training in just 20 days, right?
Right, if you're wanting us to train them for you,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. And then after you do the daycare and train, like
I could go ahead and grab another one. You know, like after the daycare train, I could also get another bundle. You know.
yeah, if you wanted, but typically
They're already.
it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I train dogs for life.
Right.
I don't train dogs and then like expect you to come back.
Right.
It happens, like you know,
Right.
something happens, you know. But once people do training with me, it's unless they want to learn something new or
Right.
something happens, like that's it.
Yeah.
Like the dog's trained for life. Okay, so that's why it's more expensive,
Right.
right? Because I'm not expecting you to come to me for 5
back.
years.
So,
But there's some people that are like that.
Right, no,
Like,
no,
oh,
no.
I got my training for 2 years, man, 2 years. That's crazy, you know? So, but yeah, you have options, you know? I would suggest you just think about it. And then either way, you have lessons with us. It's just one of them is you're doing everything I tell you.
Right.
And then the other one is he's already taught everything and then I teach you and help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just personal preference. You know, if you got the time for him, and it's trained as you go about your day. You know,
Right.
every time you walk him, you're training. If you're gonna watch TV for an hour or eat dinner, you can train.
Right.
You know, we just find places where we can apply this stuff so that you can practice throughout your day. You know, and you're not having to like set time aside
Right.
to do
right,
stuff.
right.
So once we teach it, I tell people, once the dog knows it, you just start doing it, start using it. You know, so like when you go to the park to let them run around, you're practicing the come. You know,
Right.
every time you walk on the leash, you're practicing your heel.
Mhm.
If guests are coming over, you're practicing the don't move. You know, if you're gonna just watch
Right.
TV, just lay down and just chill out, right? Same thing if you go to like Home Depot or something. You know, you're looking around and stuff, okay, lay down, don't move while I look at all this stuff. Or if you go to a restaurant, you just start to use it,
Right.
okay? Because they're not meant to be tricks.
No.
You know, they're meant to like
Yeah.
have control. So, anything else?
No, that's about
So the collars you would need runs about $325-ish with
Okay.
tax. You can get them on Amazon.
it.
Maria will send you the link to get them. I'm gonna start selling them soon, but I didn't sell them for a long time because everybody was going to Amazon and just buying them. So I had like $5,000 worth of stuff and nobody was buying them. So I was like, well, I don't want to buy anymore because they were selling it cheaper on Amazon.
So
you know.
don't you get a manufacturer from?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I get it from the dealer, from the wholesale. But the
So how would they sell it cheaper on Amazon?
how do they sell it cheaper?
Yeah.
Well, because there's the wholesale price.
Right.
And then they'll buy like, let's say 1,000 collars.
Right.
So if they get a discounted rate because they're buying 1,000,
Right.
and they can put it cheaper, but they still make money. I don't buy 1,000.
Right.
I buy like 10 to 20 of them.
Right.
You know, and then I pay more shipping, and then I pay more
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get back to it because people are having issues with it. But for right now, we're just telling people go to Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then all this, you should start to calm down a lot more. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else?
So she'll let us know like when we want to start or?
Yeah, so she'll email you.
Okay.
Because I'll email her and let her know about what you want to do.
Okay.
And then she'll give you the options like the
Okay.
pricing. She'll send you a link for the collar. And then like let's say you want to do in person and you say like, hey, I'm free on Fridays. And she'll look at my calendar and she'll say Jesse's got this time, and you say yeah, that works. She can start you right away. If it's like, because most people are 9 to 5, so my evenings and weekends are when I'm usually really busy.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But during the day, I'm usually pretty open.
Oh.
But I think Friday right now is the only day that I have daytime availability. But like Tuesdays and Mondays are all booked up, I think.
I mean, we're actually, we're open.
Yeah.
You're pretty flexible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want a bar in Logan Square, so,
Oh, what bar?
Black Lion,
Where's that at?
it's on Milwaukee and Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's usually like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's close. Pandemic is been closed. So I'm free most of the time, and then I do other online stuff, so I'm always at the house.
Sure. Yeah. So then we can get you in sooner or whatever. Because we had some clients that I saw like in January that I'm just like barely starting to see them now because of the time, like because it was so busy or whatever. But yeah, she'll get all that figured out for you. She'll send the pricings and stuff like that. And then if you want to start your own daycare, she'll help you with getting filled out on the registration and everything. He just needs to be up to date on the shots.
Yeah.
Vaccinated, and then you can bring them in. Whether or not he does training, like you just bring them with the stuff, and then we'll get them used to the environment.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Anything else?
That's about it. So just wait for Maria to contact us.
Yeah. Or you can tell her like, hey, we want to do it,
Yeah, we wanna
and
do
then
it.
she'll wait for me.
Oh, okay.
Unless you tell her like, hey, we want to do 12 classes,
Right,
and
right.
and then she'll get you started.
Okay.
If you know what you want. Otherwise, she's gonna send you the prices, and you just kind of confirm like, okay, yeah, we want to do 12 classes, or we want to do the daycare and training,
Right,
or whatever.
right. Okay.
So. He's a good looking
That's
dog
a
though.
problem. He's a baby all the time.
Big old crybaby.